Greetings to you and welcome to Minikun Tutorials. If you clicked on this particular video, I'm sure you probably have difficulties with using the Excel filter function, all right, with especially multiple criteria either within the same column or across different columns. You are probably interested in, filtering out all the students that have blood groups A, B, and O excluding blood group B, right? So you have to filter within the column of blood group all the students that have blood group A, B, and O, right? So this is actually applying multiple filters within the same column. Or you'd like to apply, multiple filters within different columns, all right? For instance, you would like to know which are the students that have blood group A, but with ages greater than 30, right? That is including even what numeric filters. And this video would help you do exactly just that. All right, so just for the purpose of this tutorial, as you can see, I've created a simple hypothetical data set of 9 students, their names, their representatives, their blood groups, as well as their ages. So we'll try to do all these different exercises that I've already done, okay, using what the filter function, okay. So what I've done is that I've copied the same data set and I've kept it here, and we'll work on sheet 2, which actually, is a fresh data set. So I'll show you how we can filter. All right. To filter, you don't really need to write all these things that I've written. I just wrote these things, to give you an idea of what we may be interested in. Okay. So sometimes let's assume that we want to filter out, for instance, um, let's say we could just with the help of the filter function, we can actually filter very, very simple things. Okay. Like we just want to filter out who are the students that have father as representative. Something that we could have done maybe on the table, by simply using the filter button and then unchecking and selecting yes father. We could do that using what the filter function. All right. And since we enter a function, then it's going to bring out the results wherever we wrote our function. So that's why we have this here, right? So it's very simple. We're going to use the filter function, and in especially in the case where you want to filter different things within the same row. For instance, you want to filter blood group, you want to filter, let's say, blood group A, blood group B, blood group O, and exclude blood group AB, for instance, within the same column. Multiple filtering, or let's say filtering with multiple criteria within the same column, is very, very much possible with the help of the filter function. I'll show you how to do that. And if you also want to do multiple filtering, on different variables, or if you want different columns with different criteria, for instance, I want to know, let's say, students with father as representative and have blood group A and have ages greater than 20, we could do that too. Or we could just do many, many more things. All right. So let's see how we can do that. I don't want us to go through all this that I've already done. There's no point in doing that. It's better we do it by practicing on a fresh data set. All right. So to use your filter function, it's first of all important that you simply select your whatever. You simply select your your data set, right, and you transform it into a table before you can use the filter function. Okay. So to select your data set, you know how it goes. You simply click this way, select your entire data set as I've done. Okay. Now, once you select your data set this way, if you have a very large data set, you have to select everything, preferably. And then once you select your data set, you simply click on insert, you click on table, then you click on what? Okay. Now a table has been created. You can always change the design of the table here. So I would prefer, for instance, picking something that is not having colors. So it looks almost normal, right? like the Excel sheet, but a table has been created. And we can name this table, for instance, let's call it our data set, right? You could call it any name you want. Okay, then you have created your table successfully, right? Now, once you have created your data set, in other words, your table, now you try to use your filter function to filter whatever that you want. So we start with very simple things to actually filtering, let's say, with multiple criteria within the same column, or even, let's say, filtering with multiple criteria across different columns. All right. So a simple thing that we could start with is, for instance, let's say we are interested in filtering out students that have what father as their representative. All right. So we can say representative. You don't have to write anything. Okay, you don't have to write anything, but I just want us to be able to see what we are doing. So anytime I'm to do something, I'll write what we are doing. All right. So let's say that we want to filter out students with representative. Okay, they have father as their representative. So father. Okay. So what do we do? Let me just put some colors and make it nice. Okay, so we have representative as our father as representative, right? So how do we go about that? So we'll use the filter function. Every function in Excel starts with what equal to, right? And now they'll ask us to write our function. So you write after equal to, you write your function filter. Okay, this one you double click on it to select it. All right, and then the next thing is what you select your data set. That is your array is your data set. Include here is talking about which column you are going to include. Then use equal to enter the criteria that you are selecting within that column. And then if empty means here that if Excel is not able to find the value, then what should it put? So we usually put like two columns to say just leave a space. So we'll see all that in detail. So to select our data set, which is our array, we simply come here to the corner and click. When you get this arrow pointing to the table, you click. All right. Don't click here. If not, you select the entire data set. We just want, so, as I've done, we selected our data set. You see, automatically it stated the name of the data set that we created earlier on, which is, we named the data set, right? Then I put comma, and then we are saying what father should be the representative. So our inclusion is for the column, this particular column. Please make sure you don't click here, else you select the entire column. That's not what we want. We want just the column of our data set that is representative. So you make sure you go down, it's pointing to representative, then you click and it's selected. You see, now you click what equal to, and then you put um, the criteria that you are selecting within this column. So what father? So you write father. You don't have to. You are not to write father. Excuse me for that. You have to select a cell that contains father. So you can come and click on this, which contains father, any of these, or just click on any cell at all that you have written father would do, right? And then you close your bracket. Or before you close your bracket, you put comma again, and then you indicate in case Excel is not able to find a student that has father as a representative, what should Excel give us? If not, Excel would always give us NA or hashtag value or whatever to say, an error message to say it couldn't find anything. So we don't want that. So we are saying, for instance, if it cannot find anything, just leave us blank space. So we put comma, then we put two columns, open and close column, whatever quotations, and then we just close the bracket and then hit enter. And there we go. All right. So over here we have what the students that have father as their representative. It has filtered that out of the data set. It's very simple, right? So let's try to do something a little bit more complicated, okay? So let's assume that we want, for instance, we can always, in case you are no longer interested in this data that is here, okay, you can just always delete. If you want to delete it, just delete the code that you've entered. In other words, and everything will go. So if I delete this, the table will vanish because we deleted a function, you see. So let's do the same for and try to do something a little bit more complicated. So let's say, for instance, we want representative to be father and. So now we are using what connectors like and or. Okay. So I want to say one representative to be father, and we also want what uh blood group to be, for instance, A. So we want students with father as representative, blood group A, and maybe they age more than 20. So we can do all that, we just type, for instance, you don't need to type anything. You can just start entering your code, but I try to make things visible and more interesting. So we can say blood group should be what? A, and then what? What else do we want? The H, okay, H should be, let's say, greater than 20. So this is our criteria. This is actually multiple criteria, right? So let's see what we can do. All right. So this is what we've entered. So our connector here is end. So I can just type and I'm not obliged to type all of these things that I'm doing. Like I always say, it's not necessary, but I just want us to see what we are doing. So it will not be like, things will be more interesting when you see what we are doing. All right. So we are using the connector and we are linking all these together, meaning the condition is that the selection that we are going to do must meet all these three uh, conditions. The representative must be a father, the black group must be A, and then what? Um, the age must be more than 20. So we just start our filter function to do this exercise. So I can just say equal to, sorry, so let me say equal to, then I type what? Filter. My array is my data set as usual. You put comma, sorry. Then you put what? Your column for representative, which is this. So remind you, anytime you are to write, let's say you are to enter multiple criteria, I beg you to always make sure you put everything in brackets. So I should have started with brackets. Okay, always put any multiple criteria within a bracket. So, you know, or any criteria, especially if you are writing multiple criteria, always make sure every criteria is kept in a bracket. So here we are going to say within the column representative, the criteria that we are going to select is what? Father. So we say equal to father. Sorry, instead of writing father, just select any cell that contains father. So you can select this, it's okay, or even here, it's okay. So then we do what? We close the brackets and then we use star for end in Excel. In Excel, when you want to use end as a connector, then you use star. So I can put star here. So and what? And blood group. So we open another bracket and then we type, we go for blood group, right? Where is our blood group? Our blood group is actually here, this column, all right? And this is equal to what? Blood group A. So we can select A here or A inside here, no problem. And it's, we close the bracket. We see, have yet another condition. And this last condition is that the age must be what? Greater than what? 20. So we put another end in case we will see later when we want to use or. When we want to use or, then we use plus for that. So, and the last thing will be what? The age must be what? Greater than 20. Right. So we open another bracket and we come and select column age, sorry. And then we put greater than, the greater than sign on your keyboard, greater than what? Then you enter 20. You close your brackets. All right. And then you close another, you put another bracket, for the first bracket. All right. Because you have to close the first bracket that we entered. Now everything is done. And of course, you can always put your condition in case Excel is not able to find anything. Please give us, let's say, empty. So just two quotations in the space, space between, just like that. And then you hit enter. All right. So Excel is telling us that this is what it has been able to find. We only have one student that has what? Father as a representative, that has, and also has blood group A, and his age is greater than what? 23. Is that true? If we look through our data set, we have this person, for instance, Nance Bayo is aged 19, so it's less than 20. It doesn't qualify. Who else has father? We pick Nancy. Nancy's father, we have what? It has father as representative, blood group A, and what? Is age 23, so greater than 20. We also have other people that have father as a representative, such as Eric, but his blood group is what? O. So he's disqualified. So which means our selection is right. You see, it's very simple, right? Let's see what else can we do. Let's try to do something a little bit more complicated. Okay. So I'm trying to see what else can we do. Let me see. Let's say that, for instance, we want a student that has um, let's say that we want a student that has, let's say, father as representative, okay, and is age more than 20. Or we want a student that is um, that has, let's say, blood group A and is age less than 20. You see? So whenever we use the connector or, we are simply what? Enlarging. It's like you are summing things. So that's why we often use plus for it. When you say or, it means you are more open. But when you say and, it's more strict. The criteria is strict. Pick out this and that. The person must respond to this criteria and that criteria obligatory. Obligatorily. So let's see how we can do this, for instance. So let's say a student uh, that has father as a representative and what? And um, age greater than 20. So let me try to, so I can always erase, like I always tell you, if you want to delete, just delete the code that you've entered and it's gone. Okay, so now this is gone. So our new criteria is that we want representative to be father, right? And age to be what? 20. So how do we do this? let's rewrite our things. So let's say H here. I'm not obliged to write these things as I always tell you. I just want us to see what we are doing. So one represent what do you call it? Representative should be father. Age should be greater than what 20, right? So that's what I'm trying to do. So age of the person should be greater than 20. Representative should be father. That is well established. So okay, so it's like this is the first criteria, right? Okay, this is the first condition. A representative should be father. Sorry, should be father. Age should be greater than 20. So this and that. So let's assume this is our first condition. Or so we have another. We can let me remove the color here. Okay, let me just link all of this and I'll remove. Forget about what I'm doing. I just want us to. I want our work to be nice. Okay, so this is the first condition. So I'll say or this is the second condition. Okay, or let's say blood group should be A. Blood group should be A, and what? So black group should be A, and what else? Okay, black group should be A, and the age can be less than 20, for instance. So this is a more complex thing to do, right? But it's not very complex. You see that it's very simple to do. Okay, so this is our second condition that I've just entered. Try to decorate everything for you to see. Okay, so how do we do this? So we want representative to be what? Father, age should be what? 20. And age must be 20. So, or we want blood group should be A, and so we want to select actually students that either have representative as father or to be father and age more than 20, or we want to select students um students that have blood group A and have ages what less than 20. This is how our selection is going. So we start as usual with equal to, sorry, and then what do we do? We come to our column, our selector. We write filter first of all. We come to select our array, our data set. We put comma. We open brackets since we are entering multiple criteria here. And then our first condition will be what? Will be that. So we enter the first condition, for instance, we want representatives to be father. So we select column for representative. We put equal to and say that has to be father. We can select father anywhere. All right. And then the next thing that we want to do is what? So representative must be father. And so you close the brackets and then you use the star sign. I told you star is end in Excel. Plus is all, right? So, and what? And H. So we open another bracket. Then we go for H. So H is this column here. Then we put what? Uh, less than, sorry, greater than 20, right? Then we close our brackets. So either representative is father. No, it's not like either. Representative must first of all be father. And yes, either representative is father and age is greater than 20. So this condition is done. Or, so the or will be introduced with what? A plus sign. But this first condition, these two criteria that we've entered, this and that, we have to embody both of them in a whole bracket because we are saying this is the first condition. So we can close both of them with what? Another bracket. So we close here and we also what? Close here with yet another bracket. Okay. And after which, the next thing that we have to do is to what? Is to now use plus to say or, right? Plus is the sign that we use to say or. Okay. So we say plus, right? So plus what? Now we will say plus, we open yet another bracket, plus what? Blood group. Okay. Blood group should be what? Blood group should be um blood group should be equal to A. You can pick A anywhere. You close your brackets, and if that is what you want, and I told you is s- star, right? If you want or, then you put plus. So you say and what? What else do we want? And H must be less than 20, right? So we come and select what? We open another bracket, we come and select H, we put less than what? Sorry, 20. Perfect. You get it? We can close our bracket. Sorry. And as usual, we have to embody everything, these two, because that constitutes yet another criteria altogether. This, so we put one bracket here to enclose it, and also put another bracket to enclose this. Okay. So we are saying this or is the plus sign here. Plus sign here is for our or, right? And we are done. So this and that, H representative must be father and H must be greater than 20, or which is a plus sign here, you know, and we are just done. Blood group must be A and H must be less than 20 in that case. So the or is, the connector between the two conditions, big conditions, right? And of course, you can always enter something in case none of these criteria is met. It should return what? It should return just space for us. We don't want it to tell us NA or anything or hashtag value or whatever. So we put two quotations, we close our bracket. Okay. So I think everything is done. We can hit enter and see. And we see it has brought us what the results. So these are the students that either have what representative to be father and age more than 20, or students that have blood group A and have their ages less than what? 20. You see, I could go on and on and on and on, but I think with what we have done, everything is clear, right? Now let's go to the last thing that I will show you. Okay, with what I've done so far, I think you can be able to apply multiple filters across different columns, all right? But now let's see, how do you apply multiple filters, okay? Or let's say, how do you do selection or with multiple criteria within the same what column? That's the last thing that I will show you. So how do we do that? As usual, if you want to clean everything, just click on the cell where you entered your code, select your code within the formula bar here, select everything, just hit the delete key and everything will be gone. If you click outside, everything is gone, right? You can always come back, you know. Now let's see what is our last thing that we will try to do. Let's try to say that we want to actually um let's assume that we want to actually do something else. Okay, we want to actually I'm trying to figure out what we may be interested in doing. Yes, let's say within the same column, okay, we want to apply multiple criteria. So we want to say, for instance, so let me erase all of this, okay? Let me erase all of this. I don't think I don't need this, all of this right now. We don't need all of this. Even this, I don't need it. I don't need all of this. I just try to always make our work neat. So I try to enter everything that I'm doing just to make sure that we're able to follow, it's more interesting. So let's assume that we want blood group. Let's rather say blood group. We want to select students for blood group. Let's say A. Okay. Or so now the connector that we'll be using here will be rather or. So so one either blood group A. We are not obliged to write all these things. I just want us to see what I'm doing. You see. So blood group A or blood group, let's say AB or O, for instance, blood group O, AB, for instance. We don't want blood group O. We want either blood group A, blood group uh, or blood group B or blood group AB. So this is all is the criteria that you are going to use within the same column. Okay, when you want to select what multiple factors. Okay, when you want to select multiple factors within the same column, you are going to use the connector or. All right. So let's do this test. We want to select students. So it's more or less like if I had used the normal filter and then I unchecked everything and I selected A, B, and A and B and just hit OK. So we have to do the same thing by using the filter command. So how do we do that? Let's write equal to here. I repeat that the filter command can be very, very useful, especially if you do filtering within the same column, but you have a lot of values. You have different criteria that you cannot scroll down to see. You just click here and you have a bunch of things you cannot scroll to uncheck and do whatever. You see, so you prefer rather using a command to enter whatever that you want. So we start as usual with what? Filter. Okay. And then we select our data set, which is our array. All right. We put comma. We select what? Our um we select blood group here. So first of all, since we are entering multiple criteria, I repeat that everything has to always be in brackets. So let's open brackets first of all before we continue. So one blood group to be equal to A. So writing A, that wouldn't work. So go to any cell at all that has A, okay, separately. So this cell, for instance, is A. You can pick any of these cells, okay. A, you close the brackets. Sorry, you put plus, you open yet another bracket, you select the same blood group, okay, is equal to what? B. So B, you click on any cell that has B, you close your bracket. Again, you write your plus, okay, you open yet another bracket, you select what? You select your variable blood group again, you press equal to what? This time around, AB. So you click on any cell that has AB, you close your brackets. And as usual, you can instruct Excel that if you're not able to find my search criteria, just return what empty space instead of NA or anything or any error message. So I would just put two quotations and close my brackets. Then go ahead and hit enter. And perfect. Here we have what, you know, all the students that have blood group what, AB, A, or blood group B, excluding students that have blood group what, O. So this is how you can do multiple filters within what, the same column. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I hope this was helpful. Please remember to subscribe and see you in the next one.